Every time I say I have a podcast to anyone, that, especially women, and rightfully so, they give me a little bit of an eye roll, and I have to explain to them what my podcast is, and they're like, okay, you're okay.
We're here to motivate.
We're here to motivate. We're here to create an impact. We're not here to do what other people do.
What I've seen and what I noticed, the most successful people have is the consistency. So to do something day in and day out.
With no tangible return.
Yeah.
With no tangible return, bro. Like,
exactly.
We're not just here to try to just cut somebody a check. We've done that a couple of times now, and you just don't feel the passion. You just feel that the person's just trying to get, from start to finish, and that's not really what we want. Like, me and Mike are here to try to build something impactful, important.
Having time to just be thankful, so that's definitely part of it, and just sitting with myself and just understanding. And I actually put like a clear board in my bedroom that I could write on, and I've just written like inspirational things like that I've heard or that people said, and just read through that.
Work hard, grind, stay true to yourself, stay disciplined, don't sell out. Those are my basic messages in some form. I just use a lot of words to describe all that.
I enjoy the process of being creative and like, okay, how can we keep this sustainable and actually build the actual platform that's something different. That's gonna, there's a lot of motivational speakers and all that. And that's not what we're doing, but it's like a platform just to, like you said earlier, to show people of all different types of walks of life.
I just don't want to cap. Like, I just don't want to have to lie my way into a room. I don't have to lie my way into someone's good graces. I just want them to like me for who I am, for what I bring to the table, my values and my thoughts. That's it.
Let's flat out. Big teams, big boys, right? My highs and lows, inherit growth, Mr. Deeds. Went from juggling 3 jobs to CEO like I'm Steve. Never been a rotten apple, call me John Appleseed. That's how I bleed. God can see, no other man can judge me. Call him Mike, Mr. International, getting cream. Single mother told me worth, and now I'm worth everything. Went from Wall Street to Abu Dhabi, straight rolling in a Maserati with women that feel exotic. My life too pristine.
Man, you didn't have to do them like that, man. You didn't have to do them like that.
It was film day. We gotta make a statement.
Exactly. We gotta make a statement. Last
What's going on, man?
Flat out.
Welcome back to the Last Flat Out podcast. We're your hosts, Mike and Jay. Hit that like button, hit that share button, and subscribe to the YouTube channel and give us a follow across all of our social media accounts at Last Flat Out Podcast. I'm Jay. You can follow me at JLubriel26, and you can follow Mike at
If Mike Was Here.
Mike, tell them where we at.
We in Dubai, man. Back home,
man. I haven't seen you since Paris, bro.
I know. It still seems like you dressed from Paris, man. You swagged out.
I was talking about
What is it? The cardigan and all that.
Hey, man. I had to keep up. With it. Yeah. But the people here are probably expecting a second episode from Paris, just like we said in the last episode, saying that we had a very special guest for this. So I want to set the scene for everybody here. So we're in Paris. Vibes were immaculate in Paris. Paris was a great weekend.
Yeah.
We had our guests lined up. Everything was aligned. The location, the outline. We've prepared. Me and Mike go into it. Everything is great. But we made one big crucial mistake.
We relied on them for the studio. You know what I mean? We tried to save money. So I like to save money.
Mike?
He's the big spender. I like to save money. So, someone offered us the studio, and it was a hard lesson to learn because, they were the main reasons why we went to Paris.
Absolutely.
And, it's a missed episode. So the quality of it, as far as the lighting, the sound, we can't use it at all.
Unfortunately, we had a very good episode lined up for the audience, for a guest.
It was amazing talk.
An amazing conversation. It was. We'll have to probably get them in a second round at some other point. We'll have to reschedule. But it was an amazing conversation that we had with a founder of a streetwear brand. Kind of analogous with ALD, sort of like for Paris, right? Like someone who is like on the rise, someone who has done major collaborations with major brands all across the world. And we learned something major in that we cannot, quality is not negotiable. I mean, we could have put it out, but then it would have.
No, we couldn't put that out. We couldn't put that out.
People would have clowned us. Like we couldn't put that out, right? Yeah. So especially when you're trying to aim to be a global brand, the quality needs to be consistent. And unfortunately, on this one, I should have maybe pushed for us to pay for the brand in the studio. But unfortunately, look, we're still a young podcast business.
Yeah.
We're still learning, we're still lumping, and we should have done our sound checks, quality control, and we absolutely did not do that.
We should have asked them to send us a video of their studio, what other type of mics they're using, what's the lighting that they're using, things like that, which we didn't do. But before we get into that, I just want to do a quick shout out. Shout out to this brand. It's called breadheads.studios on Instagram. Check them out. They do great work, quality hoodie, crazy design. This is for my young guys, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna just show love anyway. It was given to me, but I know the young guys is loving these right here, and the young ladies as well. So check them out.
Breadheads, man, hit them up.
Yeah.
But I think just moving on to just to close out that thought in the beginning, I think me and Mike, we take a lot of pride in this brand and this platform that we're building. But I think sometimes we're a little too polite, right? We don't set our clear non-negotiables. We don't go into the table with demands. Not that you need to be demanding stuff, but like the things that are like what we need in order for the episode to make sense, for us to actually record, for us to make the effort. Again, we're self-funded, we're self-sponsored, so we are trying to still get to people to come onto our platform. We don't pay anybody. They're coming off the love. So despite all of that, and despite people giving us their time, which is probably the biggest payment they could ever give us, we still have to be like, hey, this is what we expect here, so that, you know, it could be sort of like work with the aesthetic and the standard of our podcast and of this platform.
And I guess it goes to, oh man, it's a thin line, because everybody looks at us and says, wow, your production is amazing. You guys must have brand deals. Or, you know, we had one brand deal and they think like, oh, okay, it was the big bag or something like that. And it's like, you know, right here, we do treat this as a business, and it is a business, as we are investing and putting money into this. So sometimes when we can get a little freebie here and there, I'm the one that's first and foremost to raise my hand and say, yeah, let's do it. If we could save on studio time, I'm totally down for it, you know. And honestly, I think I'm more so trusted in, you know, I think we trust each other a lot. You know, if you're like, hey, this is someone I want to bring on a platform, like I'm not questioning it. And I get the same respect from you. You don't really question it. So I think that extends where I'm like, oh, okay, I know if it's coming from Jay, everything's gonna be cool, you know?
Oh yeah, this one was on me. I should have. And first of all, Mike's being very kind. There's sometimes where Mike says some people, I'm just like, nah, we can't be doing this. We can't be. That's not the direction of this podcast. There's certain. I'm not even gonna.
You don't want to go viral. That's why.
I do want to go viral. I do want to go viral for the things that work.
And I want for the right reasons as well.
And for the right reasons, exactly. Now, I don't want anybody to come. Look, there's plenty of guys with mics nowadays. I don't know about you, but every time I say I have a podcast to anyone, that, especially women, and rightfully so, they give me a little bit of an eye roll. And I have to explain to them what my podcast is, and they're like, okay, you're okay.
We're here to motivate.
We're here to motivate. We're here to create an impact. We're not here to do what other people do. I'm not going to name some podcasts. But look, I think we weren't proactive enough, and that cost us a powerful story. And that's what hurt me the most, because that story was so powerful about somebody who came from rags to riches, nothing, 20 years in the game, still expanding, expanding their horizons. And I'm just so disappointed that we can't produce that produce it and show it to the world. Yeah,
maybe at a later date, at a later time. Yeah. But yeah, so I would say, what's the lessons that you learned in that experience?
Don't be cheap. Don't be cheap. Like, honestly, don't be with your production. Do not cut any costs. Like, honestly, I'm not someone who, when it comes to my own stuff, and look, I like freebies every once in a while too, absolutely. But I think that when it comes to our platform, this platform, especially since we're in the beginning, let's put the money behind it. Let's set the tone. Let's create the parameters that we want people to play in and you know, comply with. I think that we cannot be so quiet or about our standard. It's not like we're setting a crazy standard. It's going to make the guests look good as well, right? And I'm not here to try to tell anybody like, look, we're here to try to control what comes out of your mouth. We're here to just try to control the setting where we do it, make sure that the sound quality is correct. This is still a business at the end of the day, and how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah. And I guess we can't be afraid to walk away from certain opportunities if it doesn't fit us, you know, and if it's not our style, because we're still finding our voice out here. And I think both of us are high quality people, and we got to make sure we keep that standard.
No, about finding your voice though. Like we're almost 2 years in, and people still like, we started off the podcast, if people remember, as like two American guys living in the UAE, and we had to pivot off that when I moved from the US, right? And now we're sort of like a global platform where we get to just show extraordinary people from all corners of the world doing things, from creators, entrepreneurs, CEOs, people who are employees who come up with innovative ideas, and just showing like there's a lot more in common that you have with these people than you actually think.
Yep.
And there's so many people from across the world that we've sat across from, and I'm like, we can replicate that characteristic, we can replicate that underlying trait and put it into our podcast and sort of like mold our own voice and like just create a platform to impact and inspire. And like, again, at the end of the day, this is a business. This is no secret, right? We're eventually want to turn a profit into this. But I think what we're focused on right now is finding our voice, is finding our niche. And again, like we've been building the audience from year to year now at this point, right?
Definitely,
like people are recognizing us a little bit more, right? People are starting to come to us and ask more questions. We're being presented with more opportunities because we've stayed consistent, right? Now, again, people ask us what our niche is and what separates us from other people. Look, I think a lot of other platforms and a lot of other people do amazing things, but I think what me and Mike are doing is creating the product in front of you. That's the whole point. We're creating it in front of you. We're making our mistakes as we go, right? Like, again, we're like, believe me.
Some mistakes are more expensive than others. But it's lessons that we learned.
But we had fun in Paris, though.
We did.
We got turned. Like, let's not pretend we didn't get turned up in Paris, right?
No,
like,
we did.
There was some great nights in Paris. Amazing nights in Paris. But the problem is we went there for business first, and the business aspect of it didn't take care of it. So I see it from your standpoint. But that's sort of like the message and sort of like what resonated with me on the flight back. I was so disappointed when we got that email.
Oh, man. I was super disappointed because now it's like, coming to the UAE, now we're working overtime to get, quality content out, and we're filming a lot these next 2 days. But I'm excited for it. But yeah, it's like, and then when I come over to New York, it's like we're going to be jam-packed as well.
No way. And by the time this episode drops, we would have already done our first live recording.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. We would have done our first live recording. So that is something that I think everyone should really, like, anyone who's a supporter of us knows that we've only been in business for less than 2 years, right? And one of our goals was to actually do a live recording in front of an audience. Now, whether, again, this is before we even get to the live recording, right? But whether 10, 20, 30 people show up, I really don't care. I want the target practice, right? And I think that's to show people, set your standards real high, set your goals real high, aim for it. You never know. You never know. We didn't think we were going to get our brand deal last.
And the universe is listening. But I say like I think the work is paying off. Like there's plenty of sleepless nights. There's plenty of like figuring it out and all that. And I think, we're just like, we don't know. And we're just like, we're not stopping, and that's the thing. So,
yeah, I mean, it's kind of like one of those things that if you were to ask me where we would have been a year and a half from where we started, I mean, I wouldn't think this right now. I wouldn't have thought this, right? And some people,
and the people that we're getting as well, the people that actually like our podcast, some of the random follows that we're getting, so it's like, okay.
Some people who follow us, our platform, like, wow, they're seeing it. That's what's up. This is cool. Exactly. And we're building an organic platform, right? Like we have a strong, mighty platform that we're building day by day, right? And look, it's still me and Mike. We're still looking for a way to scale this, which the common thread from everyone that we've met across all 4 seasons, that scalability seems to be the toughest thing to get your idea to a actual like proven product. And I think that, we have capital, but like capital doesn't buy good talent in terms of building your team. And I think anybody who's going to join the Last Flat Out team has to come with the mindset that this is also mine as well, and I want to build this, and I want to be a part of this. We're not just here to try to just cut somebody a check. We've done that a couple of times now, and you just don't feel the passion. You just feel that the person's just trying to get, from start to finish, and that's not really what we want. Like, me and Mike are here to try to build something impactful, important, something that's cool and vibey from people who look like you and me, right? Like people who are the everyday person who's just trying to grind their way to to something meaningful, right? Whatever that is. Podcasting, you want to be a partner somewhere, you want to be a CIO, whatever it might be. There's somebody on this platform that you can relate to, right? There's just somebody, but still costly mistake. Do not sacrifice on the quality of anything, because when you do, then that was thousands of dollars down the drain that hurts to this day, right? Like,
for
that's
real.
Wild, man.
Yeah. But I would say, I think what we're formulating or is coming together is not quite there yet. People have morning routines, right? So then what's going to be our podcast routine, that we make sure that it's like, I think we got to come into a point where we have a set schedule of, hey, we're coming up with these international episodes from this month to this month. And then now we're going to start bringing on the online version of it. So I think once we start getting that podcast routine down, I think this will safeguard us from a lot of things.
Yeah. And honestly, like, speaking, we're being vulnerable here. Paris kind of came up last minute. And like, in terms of like, we prepared for it, like we were ready for it, but we didn't have enough time to do a lot of quality controls that we would do, what we've done in other sort of scenarios, whether we went to London or, LA or New York or Dubai. Like, Paris kind of came up like sort of like kind of rapidly together. And because of that, there was a lot of pitfalls. Like, in terms of like what me and Mike do behind, there's a lot of scouting for talent, people that we're actually interested in, people we think it's a good fit for the platform. Look, there's a lot of great stories out there. There's a lot of people doing amazing things out there, but not everybody's fit for this platform. And that's okay. That's fine. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. We're not here to try to say that, we're better than you or anything like that. We just don't think you're a fit for the platform. And it's not an insult on you. Right? We have a story that we're trying to tell. We have a narration. We have an outline that we're trying to build. And I think that, like, checking the tech, checking the sound, the technical parts of the podcast that people don't really talk about. That's something that we're learning. Like, just Mike, checking sound, right, of the festivals, just going and making sure, because had we not had that experience,
yes, tomorrow it might go on horrible,
it might not be
and we don't need, it doesn't give us the opportunity to have a backup plan.
No.
And that's the thing, we always have to be prepared, for what if things don't go right, what if the studio is not opening up, because a lot of times we're going to destinations where we're trying out a studio for the first time. So
I think Dubai and New York are the only ones where we have like repeat customer type stuff. Right. So, I mean, in Miami, we know where we got to go. In LA, we know where we got to go. Paris, we definitely know where we got to go now, right? Like, that's there. But, I think everywhere in the world, anywhere you go, the standard needs to be still applied, right? So, speaking about, podcast routines, I mean, this is probably going to come out a little after but what's your morning routine? Everybody's talking about that Ashton Hall guy, stuff like that, which I personally don't have a problem with Ashton Hall. I don't have a problem with him.
You was feeling him. You was feeling him.
I like him. I like Ashton Hall because although, yes, it's a little dramatized, guys, it's social media. It's social media. It's supposed to be dramatized, a little extra. But he's just trying to emphasize his regular routine and put it on camera. Is there somebody waiting for him every day outside of a truck? Probably not. But he wanted to show, hey, I want to showcase this. Now the head into the ice bucket thing, that may be a little intense, but I think what he's trying to replicate is an ice bath.
Ice bath.
It's an ice bath. Right? Like, if you're trying to, don't be so dense, don't be so shallow. Like, he's just trying to drop Easter eggs into like an ice bath, which is great for you first thing in the morning scientifically. He's just doing it to his face. Maybe he doesn't want to get in. I don't know. I don't want to get in an ice bath at 3:47 in the morning.
You know what it is? I think that people don't like when things are too curated and too perfect. Like, I think people are not envious, but I realized, and I had a few conversations with a couple of people, and not everybody loves positivity and good things. Like, I've actually heard somebody say, like, damn, I just want to be down for a little bit. I just want to be negative for a little bit. Like, let me, because it's a feeling, And
it's not
some
a feeling
people
I'm trying to be in, bro. Like,
but some people want to go through all the emotions, And I think in certain scenarios it's okay, but I've heard that before, that some people are like, hey, I just want to like, I don't want to hear the positivity shit. I'm going to get, it's like, yo, let me soak for a minute.
When you were going through what you went through with the, the passing of your mother.
Yeah.
You still were, I mean, you were obviously down more than usual. You're a very happy-go-lucky guy, but I never felt you hating on anybody. That's not who you are,
I'm not hating
bro.
on anybody else.
No, I'm just saying, like you probably, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, some people actually go to sleep every night or wake up every day wanting to hate on people, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that's a weird thing, but some people, I mean, I'll give you an example. I'm gonna just use myself instead of using someone else. But like there was a period where like, people would tell me like, oh, it's gonna be okay, like you'll be fine, time heals everything. And it's like, yo, I don't wanna hear that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like,
not in that moment.
Yeah, not in that moment. It's like, what do you mean? Like, okay, let me just brush it off. Yeah,
let me give you a more recent example. So I'm on my flight here to Dubai, and there was a man who had a heart attack on my flight here. So my flight got delayed. And even Mike sent me a picture. I'm like, yo, look at all this great stuff for our facial stuff. It was the delayed message, but I told Mike, I was like, Mike, someone just died or potentially died on my flight. I'm not trying to hear that right now, right? So it's a matter of just being in the moment. It's not necessarily representative of who you are as a person, right? Going back to the routine, I don't mind his routine, right? Because I replicate a lot of his routine because look, bro, like we have interviewed, we have not had 100 episodes yet, but of the highly successful entrepreneurs that we have in it, they kind of have a similar routine. They have a similar routine to this guy, right? So like, there has to be some sort of pattern that comes with having to wake up early, grinding through the day, going to sleep at night, late, working on your craft. There's you have to put the time in. Yeah. There's no way you're just gonna do 8 hours a day and expect.
Yeah, and I think what I've seen and what I noticed the most successful people have is the consistency. So to do something day in and day out.
With no tangible return.
Yeah.
With no tangible return, bro. Like,
exactly. And I think for me, my morning routine is, and it's not perfect. It's not to a T. It's not like this guy.
It's not 9:47. You're not jumping off a pool and then landing 4 minutes later?
No, but when I'm on it, it is waking up, not checking social media, and just having time to just be thankful, so that's definitely part of it, and just sitting with myself and just understanding. And I actually put like a clear board in my bedroom that I could write on, and I've just written like inspirational things like that I've heard or that people said, and just read through that. And then if I can, wake up early enough, so it'll be that, and then work out, and then I'll set my morning,
I think this. I'm always up between 4:45. Yeah, like I'm always up between 4:45 and like 5:30 on any given day. Very rare during the week I wake up any earlier than that or any later than that. I'm always like kind of programmed to be there. And the first thing I do when I get up, it's always the same. I get up, I kind of look at myself in the bed and tell myself, there's always the first thought is like, damn, I really want to do this Barry's class. Yeah. Do I really want to do this Barry? It's every day. And I tell myself, you're going to regret it. If you don't go, you're going to regret it. Sort of like, so that always sets the tone because I have to have a sweat. I have to have some sort of adrenaline because I'm someone who has a lot of pent up, not aggression is the wrong word, but a lot of pent up energy because I'm just somebody with a lot of energy and I need to get it out somehow. And Barry's is the best way for me to do it. Some sort of exercise, come back, obviously check my emails, very hectic lawyer. So like I'm always on my emails. Answer to Mike. Mike always got to respond to me on some idea he has or wants to do it. So I have to respond to Mike being my business partner. And social media is probably not something I check. I check it while I'm like having my shake. Something I just want to distract myself and just like see who DM'd me, maybe who responded to a message that I had. But I use my threads as my like sort of whiteboard. Right. Okay. Like my threads.
You write a lot of inspirational stuff.
Yes, because it's some stuff that I hear, I read, I think to myself, and some people have come to me and saying like, yo, this, I actually like the things or repost the things that I write. And other people stay quiet about it. They talk about it. And then other people call me toxic positivity, which is not toxic positivity. What I'm telling you is not novel. Work hard, grind, stay true to yourself, stay disciplined, don't sell out. Those are my basic messages in some form. I just use a lot of words to describe all that. Yeah. But It's so true. Like the one thing I've learned in this journey, it is if you chase being a better version of yourself and not chase the money, not chase the clout, not chase the fame, which will all come if you stay consistent and those are the things you're looking for, you're going to be fine. But if you're chasing those three things and they don't come immediately, you're going to burn out and flop out, which is the reason a lot of people flame out, bro. You know how many people I see on social media that I follow? Yeah. And I don't follow a lot of people, so I'm able to very closely monitor everybody I follow who starts something and stop it.
Yeah, no.
How many times have you started something and stopped it? Let's be honest.
I mean, a few, you know, but I call it like, you know, kind of fail fast.
Me too.
Type of things, you know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, and not everything is going to be a success. And actually, I should change that. It's not really like failing, because if you try something, give it your all, and there's lessons in that, you know?
Yeah.
So, and a lot of times it's not about like, you know, what makes something successful, you know, like, because, you know, not everything has a time period of, oh, this is going to be forever, you know? So for me, it's more so if I want to try something, I want to have that freedom to go ahead and pursue it to the best of my abilities. And if it's a certain point that it's like, damn, I'm not having fun, this isn't for me, then all right, it's time to then pack it up. But what are the lessons that I learned? What did I gain out of this experience? You know, more so the journey.
Yeah. And do you think that when you went into most of the things that you failed fast, what was your mentality? Was it like to make a quick buck? You said fail fast or learn fast?
Learn fast. Yeah. So a lot of things is if it wasn't my passion, or if it was just to, you know, make money. If money is the driver, it's never going to be successful, you know.
Let me know how them NFTs going, bro. Let me know how the NFTs going, bro.
I actually enjoy it, man. I love art. I love community.
You should.
So, you know.
No, one thing that I try, this is actually the first thing that I've had in a very long time that I'm doing strictly for the passion, even though we're in the red, right? In terms of like, you know,
yes.
We're in the red. Like, we're not going to go ahead and lie to people. We're not over here fucking big balling and stuff like that. Like, we're not doing that. Like, we have great careers that pay us very well. That's how we're making up for it. Now, there's tax advantages to this podcast too. But what I'm saying is that this is the first thing that doesn't bother me, where maybe the initial investment isn't turning a profit yet. Because in any business that you have, guess what? You're not going to turn a profit anyway in the beginning, right? That's why they have to say 2 to 3 years to reserve, possibly 4, really 5, if you think about it, before anything hits off. I mean, we were just talking to CEO. We were just talking to CP. Took him 8 years to get to where he's at now. Like, that's a lot of time for you to be waiting, for you to be pumping money into something, for you to just watch paint dry, and for it to be like, can I touch the wall yet? Like, can I enjoy the house that I've built? Because a lot of people are impatient. It comes down to a lot of people not being patient, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's really comes down to.
Yeah. And I think for myself, it's more so I enjoy the process of being creative and like, okay, how can we keep this sustainable and actually build the actual platform that's something different? That's gonna, you know, there's a lot of motivational speakers and all that. And that's not what we're doing, but it's like a platform just to, like you said earlier, to show people of all different types of walks of life, you know, the commonality that we have between us.
And I guarantee you nobody's flying to the people on a constant basis like this, right? Like, unless they have some sort of sponsor with them, like, people ain't really just off the rip going and be like, hey, let's go to Paris, let's go to Amsterdam, let's do this. And we have so many places around the world with so many interesting people that we're thinking about, but like getting in contact with them. And it's gotten a little easier as the season has gone by. I think people are like, okay, now you have a bigger sample size of work. We see what the production's like. We see what the editing's like. You guys talk about a positive message. Let me get my story out there. Why not? There's some people who still act Hollywood for sure, which I don't. There's some people I understand.
Honestly, I got to the point now where I don't even think so. Like, cause I just to me,
because Mike is gonna be like that, guys.
No, because I'm gonna understand it. You know, I understand it now.
Mike is gonna go ahead and be like, yo, we can't. Mike, even now when we get so many offers, to do collaborations, to do partnership, joint. We're like, it's not even worth responding to this.
Yeah, you know, because you can't respond to everyone. And for me, I think doing this podcast, it kind of humbled me. And I think that's what makes me dig deeper. And we don't have 100 episodes, you know? So, and, you know, who are we to demand someone's time? No. We're not paying them or anything like that. And so I get it. But for me, it's like, all right, so let's make them notice us.
Yeah.
And
we haven't paid our debt yet. We haven't paid our dues.
Yeah.
We're not 100 episodes. This would be episode 29.
No.
We still got 70 more to go
Exactly.
after this, right? And like, you know what? Like, I'm ready for it. I'm here for it, right? Like, it's a healthy outlet.
Yeah.
It's positive. People at work are starting to talk about my podcast now, which is good. I mean, there was one dinner I was out at a networking dinner, and we had to share a fun fact about ourselves.
Yeah.
So I shared that I had been to like 73 countries or something like that, or whatever. And the partner that was there said, "There's another fun fact that everybody should know about you." And I said, "What is that?" It's like, "You have another hobby outside of this." And I go, like, "How do you know about it?" It's like, I've watched, I've dibbled and
they seen without you even
saying anything? It was a woman. There was a woman.
Oh, okay.
I was like, okay. I was like, great. I didn't know I had an undercover fan. She's like, I'm subscribed to the YouTube channel.
Shout out to you.
Yeah, shout out, man. Shout out. But it's one of those things that you don't know who's watching.
Yeah.
Now, again, this goes back to vulnerability and authenticity. Look, I believe everything that I say here. I'm a little bit more polished because you don't know who you're watching, and I'm still fully employed, gainfully employed. I need to respect my employer, even though my opinions and things I say are not representative of their beliefs or anything like that. But at the end of the day, I do have a respect factor.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
For everybody out there who may not share the same views as me, and I don't want to offend anybody. But at the end of the day, I think this is a healthy outlet. We're not doing anything. I don't think we're doing anything wrong here. Like,
I don't think so. Because
if we are, man, God save us, man. Like, now, what's the most gratifying thing about this platform, and even though we've made mistakes, which is the theme of this episode, is that you have to have learned from every one of your experiences and then be able to cultivate it to make a better, more memorable experience when the same issue comes up later on. And we'll be much more equipped to deal with pitfalls. Yeah. And I'd rather have the mistakes happen now.
Yeah, exactly.
Not later.
Yeah,
right? When we actually have maybe a big obligation.
Yeah.
People counting
or a bigger
on
audience, or people that are pointing out the mistakes and things like that. Yeah. So it's like, this is our training ground. This is where we learn. And I think it quickly applied to this weekend where we were diligent on like, hey, this is what we need.
And we had to make some tough decisions about that too, right? Because sometimes, like I said, you can't sacrifice the standard. You can't sacrifice the quality. And how we do everything on each one of these episodes, and as we've gradually increased the quality of the episode as we've continued to grow and mature, has been apparent in our production. We've been getting better with our cadences.
Yep.
Me and Mike at the beginning, when we did our first guest, we were trying to fill each other out. It was like putting two superstars on the same team and just be like, who's the ball handler here? Who's taking the last shot? So now I think we've built a really good cadence, and we still have a lot to learn from one another.
Yeah.
But even having these conversations, we all know that I was dominating conversation. That wasn't fair to Mike. We had to.
Honestly, so it's funny. Like, people say that, and I'm somebody, like, we were talking about studying film earlier. So I've been like, I don't like to watch too many podcasts because I don't want to duplicate or anything like that. But I watch the ones that are really good, and it's not something where, and I think a lot of that feedback was from people that are close to us and that love us. You know what I mean? So,
because nobody who didn't know us,
is saying that. Yeah, exactly. And they were like, "Yo, you guys are actually good," and all that. But people that love us, that's close to me, it's like, "Hey, I want to see you." Like, they want to see me be the star or something like that.
Yeah, right.
It's not about star, but it's like, all right, it's two different personalities. Like, how do we blend? How do we mix? And on certain topics, it's you might dominate it versus I might dominate it.
And I think people don't really understand that, because honestly, I got some of that feedback even from people from my end, right? Like saying it needs to be more of an equal exchange. And I told them that's not really the right way to think about it, because on any team, there's contributions depending on the situation.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's been plenty of podcast episodes where I'm the one just looking at Mike taking it over, right? Because I may not know something. I researched the topic, but Mike may be more in the weeds about the topic, and I'm just there, the table setter. Mike is there. Mike is really there on the details, and vice versa, right?
Yeah,
And that's the beautiful part about this. You have to be able to be manual. You have to be able to be switchable. You have to be able to be, think on your toes. There's been some podcasts where the script doesn't even go the way we thought it was, right? Mm-hmm. And we have to be, thank God we did the research to be able to pivot. But, guys, for everybody out there who thinks I'm a blabber, I like to talk, that's for sure. But I promise you.
He's a lawyer,
I'm a lawyer. That's what I do for a living. People pay me to do that. Yeah. But Mike has a lot to say. Mike actually comes up with a lot of good ideas. A lot of our good ideas on this episode, on this podcast, is because of Mike. So a lot of things you don't see on here doesn't mean that's not happening in the background.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, whether it's doing a Twitch, whether it's like IG Live, whether it's to like do more of the promotional stuff, that's coming from the guy across from me right here, right? Like I do a lot of the boring stuff, like a lot of the reading that Mike doesn't want to do. And he just looks at me and tells me, we good to sign?
All the contracts and all, I'm like, I trust you a lot. I'm like, all right, it's good to go.
Mike goes and says, yo, we good to sign? We good to sign, baby. Let's go.
I probably signed my life rights away.
You probably did.
I told him to read it. What did you read?
No. But I think there has to be a give and take, right? Because we've learned to also trust each other with certain things, right? Whether you're doing the creative lead on something and you go off in your corner and be like, yo, here's the idea. I've already set it up. I already handle it. Mike gives me an overview. I'm like, yo, we're at the stage where we should try everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I have unless Mike wants us to act stupid in social media or embarrass us. Short of that, I'm pretty okay with a lot of stuff. Like, we should be at the stage where.
And this is the time now. Like all ideas are welcome as long as we're not embarrassing ourselves or it's something where it's like we look back and we're like we should have never done
or
this.
Families, you know what I mean? Or the people
or
who
families.
love us.
Exactly.
We don't want any of that.
Yeah.
So I think just tying it back. So just in life in general, do you feel like as you've gotten older and with this podcast, has it made you more prepared and structured in other parts of your life, or in terms of like what has this podcast added to your life, taken away from your life a little bit? Like what? Let's get into that a little bit.
I think for myself, the podcast has just given me more just confidence and all that I wouldn't usually have, but or just some people would beg the difference, say, "Oh, you're always so sociable and talking to people," but but it's helped me even more in that, and I think just just inspiring me in different ways of the people that we get to talk to and meet, and then when we dig into their lives, and it's like, all right, I could be doing more, or there's more out there, and just to just live more, because there's some people that we talk to, and it's like, damn, what? Earlier today, I'm like, what was I doing at 26?
Yeah, it's true, man. And there's people out here being CEOs of companies that IPO, making millions of dollars, and then going off to build multi-million dollar companies. I'm like, yo, like what? Not that I don't believe that people are incredibly intelligent, have great ideas, but I'm just sort of like, wow. Like in terms of like the feeling you get here, and doesn't this do it justice for the audience? Like when you're here feeling this person's passion, you get inspired by that stuff.
You do. Yeah.
You see that this person has put major work into their craft and they know what they're talking about, which helps us identify the bullshitters in real life when they're talking to us. I'm like, you're capping. Heavy. Right? You're capping. I know what the real thing looks like. And unless you're telling me you're the only person who's achieved it that way, you capping.
Yeah.
Right? But a lot of the world gets away with capping.
Yeah.
Right? And I never want to be one of those. Like, I know, fake it till you make it, great, no matter what. But I think I've reached a point in my life where, not that I'm like this anyway, but I just don't want to cap. Like, I just don't want to have to lie my way into a room. I don't have to lie my way into someone's good graces. I just want them to like me for who I am, for what I bring to the table, my values and my thoughts. That's it. But yeah, like going off to what you're saying, it has made me more confident. It has. At first, I was a little shy to tell people I have a podcast, because guys with podcasts right now are not getting a great rep, but we're not that.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm still kind of low-key battling the, what do they call the imposter syndrome and all that?
Yeah, it's true.
I'm still kind of battling it, but I feel like I'm overcoming it just by, like I said, when we get the recognitions, the random recognitions, or when we get people reaching out and all that. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we are that. We are podcasters, So.
I mean, I think sometimes to call yourself a podcaster, I mean, we made money off of it, so we professionals. So we made money. We got a check for this. So we are professional at this. Now, where we're at in the professional spectrum, that's still to remain seen. We're humble here, like the Last Flat Out podcast.
Minor leagues.
We got called up. We got called up a couple times. We got sent back down. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of people who have put a lot of work into this podcast sphere, and for us to think we're going to be near what they've achieved, the people like we look up to, the podcasts and platforms that we talk about, they put a lot of work in behind that. Like,
definitely.
you can say luck, you can say people, resources, free capital, whatever you want to call it. The point is, they put it together. It's a production, right?
Exactly.
Me and Mike, we're doing the best we can with our resources and our capital and trying to optimize it and maximize it to the greatest extent possible. But to whatever you're doing in your life, you have to work with the lemons and the cards you were given.
Definitely.
Right? You may not have the perfect cards, but look, I've seen bad hands turn into great hands, and I've seen people with great hands starting off, and they fumble the bag. They fade the bag real quick, man. Real quick. Just moving forward, like, what do you think? So the call, like, there was an actual, like, going back to the Paris episode, there was an actual sort of, actually, like, money cost of not being prepared.
Yeah.
What do you think was the actual, like, intrinsic costs of not being prepared in terms of, like, losing on that episode and, like, kind of your thoughts, and how could that sort of, like, that loss has replicated into making sure that you're better prepared in other aspects of your life?
I feel like from that, I just, how I've learned from that is, one, just trust in yourself and trust what we can do. Right. Trust what I bring to the table, what I'm prepared for. And, sometimes I guess sometimes, like, the burden can be a lot because we're doing everything. We have no PR, we have no editor or anything like that. Like, we have no marketing team, so we're doing everything. And sometimes, I feel like you could give in to, like, oh, okay, there's a little help, there's a little relief, But I think we're at the point where it's like, we got to trust in ourselves. And it's like, if we expect a certain level, it's okay, we got to do it ourselves at this point.
I'm gonna crash out a little bit right now because I get so damn frustrated with people, like, who are contacting us. I can help you with this. I can do SEO optimization. I can do editing. And then when you see their work, it's garbage. I'm like, gosh. Honestly, like, what are you trying to sell me here? Like, are you serious? Like, look at my platform and you're trying to sell me this. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if you're gonna come to me and Mike, I know we're a small platform here. We're not desperate.
We're
not desperate. Like, we're not desperate in any aspects of our lives. Like, podcasts, work, other things, like, we're just not desperate. So, like, don't come and present us BS kind of ideas. And sort of, like, the intrinsic value that I lost in that was kind of disappointing to me because I take pride in being well prepared and outlined. And that was a major hit to my ego because I was like, hold on, we flew how many hours here to get this story? We spent how much money to prepare for this, to do an outfit check? Like, we had a sponsor, we had people who was behind us on that episode. We had to do a lot of explaining to ourselves, and we're gonna have to, like, that. So that wasn't fun. That was not a fun part of the podcast. But I think
that helped us now. So now it's like we kind of have a checklist of, okay, we're gonna do a destination. Like, let's have a minimum amount of guests there. The studios that we're gonna check out, it's
what their mics are, how the cameras are. Do you do a live mix?
Show us examples.
Because now we're not taking anybody's word unless we're somebody that you have a relationship with, that, or someone that we trust that vouches for that place. Not even then. We still need to check. Or if one of us don't see eyes on it, it's just not worth it. But yeah, man, like, it was a very interesting experience. Hopefully we don't have to ever do that again. That was not fun. This season is just getting started. I'm always proud of the guests that we have, but I feel like the guests this season take it over the top a little bit more. Does. We just keep every season, because I'm at the end of seasons now at this point. I'm just like, all right, we're gonna have to step it up now a little bit. And we're gonna have to step it up. And there's some people that we're still trying to get. And
honestly, if you think about it now, so we lost the episode in Paris, but then, like, the first two it's starting off with a bang. Like, you know what I mean?
That's true. And
potentially coming to New York, it could be nice.
No. Here we're doing Paris. We started off. We started off with this one. We got a few. I'm excited about the one we got. The one right after this one. I'm excited about the one of the ones we got here in Dubai. Who, again, it will be a story of consistency, perseverance, and never giving up. Because this person we were trying to get for 3 seasons, and we finally got him. So it was fine. And then, man, New York is going to be a vibe. Mm-hmm. And speaking about confidence, one thing for Mike. Mike is, again, I don't know about this shy person that everybody talks about, Mike, because I've personally never seen that side of you. But Mike wants to just pull up to somebody we have on our target list, go to his shop and start chopping it up with him. Like, yo, come with the podcast. I'm a little bit more, let's send an email. Maybe let's let him know we're going there before him. Mike is like, let's go Rambo style, SEAL Team 6.
So first of all, I feel like both of us are just great people, you know, and
Right.
and we got great personalities in person. And I feel like the email and all this, the DMs, is so saturated. These people probably get tons and tons of emails and DMs. And I feel like we will stand out if it's literally like, who has the balls to like, yo, just pull up to where they're at and just, hey, I'm such and such, nice to meet you. Like, hey, we want to do something. Like, who's the proper outreach? Or, hey, I'm asking you directly, like, can you come on our platform? Let me show you this. This is what we do. And I feel like it's gonna be hard to somebody, because I believe in our work.
Right.
Somebody to actually look at it and be like, nah, I don't like it. It ain't for me. You know what I mean?
That's true. No, that's true. I'll give you that. It really is. And I just think that for me, I'm still dealing with that little bit of imposter syndrome too, where I'm just like, like our work, like, do we have enough do we have enough of a sample size? I don't doubt the quality. The quality is there.
Yeah.
The quality and the things that we talk about and the way we're executing it is getting better as the seasons go on. But I'm just sort of like, you know, I'm playing like this sort of like imposter in comparison. I'm like, but like he can get hit up by this other platform. And like, we're not completely as big, and we're being vulnerable here. Like, obviously we have our doubts, we have our, you know, the things we talk about, but we always snap ourselves out of it because we need to continue to move forward. I'm sure there's some people who didn't even think we would get this far. Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's some people out there lurking, be like, damn.
Yeah. But honestly, I want that feedback, as well as if someone's gonna shut us down and is, you know, like in person in our face and be like, yo, you guys just started like that. But I think they're gonna remember us and be like, yo, these guys that pulled up on me, and that's like, you know, so then when we get to that point, like, all right, yo, we're 3 years in now. Like, what's up? And you've seen who else has been on our part. Are you ready now?
Right.
Like,
what's it gonna take? Like, the thing is, I always take no's as it's a rejection. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not the right time.
Not right now. Yeah, exactly.
It's not right now. I'm okay with it. Not right now. We've gotten a couple not right nows. We're too busy. This and that. Whatever, and that's cool. We'll spin the block. We'll come back. We'll come back. We'll come back. We'll have plenty of time, and maybe we won't have time for you.
Exactly.
Maybe we won't have time for you.
Maybe
you never know.
Be like,
I'm sorry. That's my petty side talking. I'm sorry. That's my petty side talking. We accept all people here on the Last Flat Out podcast platform. We are all inclusive. Trump, do not come after us. But we are inclusive. But no. On a serious note, we are confident in our work. Like, we love to do this. We love to work with the multiple podcasting platforms, the editors that we work with. Maybe not all the editors, but like, we like to work with the editors. But it's sort of like, this is the fun part. Finally sitting down, recording, getting it done. So
Exactly.
So there you go, guys. Season 4, second episode. No guest episode from Paris, but we left with lessons learned, our checklist, a little bit of an ego, a hit to the ego, but we're so excited to bring you this season. Thank you for rocking out with us again. Another season, me and Mike. We hope that you guys enjoy this journey with us. I promise you, it will be worth it in due time. It will be worth it. The next episodes after that, and every episode thereafter. Man, how about you close it out? Let them know where they can find us, and let's get out of here.
Man, y'all already know the drill. Last Flat Out Podcast, wherever you listen to your podcasts at, Apple, Spotify, we're there. Instagram, now Twitch. You know, we're everywhere. TikTok, go find us, man. Peace out.
Peace out, everybody.
Last Flat Out. Big teams, big boys, eh? My highs and lows inherit growth, Mr. Deeds. Went from juggling 3 jobs to CEO like I'm Steve. Never been no rotten apple, call me John Appleseed. That's how I bleed. God can see no other man can judge me. Call him Mike, Mr. International, getting cream.